spooky children. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. Normally when I do my makeup, there's like a bunch of dramatic stories for me to tell you, but in today's video it's going to be a little change. I'm going to be talking about my spirituality in this video and discussing some of my spirit guides and my beliefs while doing my makeup. Basically there isn't any drama in my life anymore because I cut a bunch of people off. So we're going to be talking about something different today. So I'm going to be applying the YSL concealer. So yeah, I've got two female spirit guides that I know of. So one of them is actually my little sister. So I had a little sister that died before she could be born. What happened was my mum had me, and my dad, to be honest, was a pretty useless dad. He left when I was 9 months old, and he hasn't really been in a huge chunk of my life. He was there for like maybe the first 10 to 12 years of my life, and then like ever since then he's not really had anything to do with me. He met a new partner and then they got married, and then after they got married, clearly his daughter wasn't on top of his priority list, so he's a scumbag. That's the polite way of saying it. And not long after I was born, my mum became pregnant with a second child, and what happened was my dad was apparently useless when I was a baby. He didn't do nothing to like take care of me, and I don't know if this is all excuses that my mum makes up, because as I've mentioned in previous videos, my mum is always excusing herself. She makes things up and tells lies, and she's just a very toxic person. So I don't actually 100% believe what she's saying in this story. I'm taking it with a huge chunk of salt, but basically her excuse was that my dad was useless, and things were already kind of rocky between the two of them. Apparently my dad didn't like it here. He hated living here, which I don't really blame him hating living here, because this town is a fucking shithole and the people on it are the scum of the earth. Yeah, so it was about that. He wanted to go back to England while my mum didn't want to raise a child in London. I mean, you do hear a lot of horror stories about high crime rates in London, but I don't know, would my life have been slightly better in there just because the culture in London's a lot more open, it's a lot more free compared to the culture in the town that I live in. So I don't know what my life would have been like if my mum stayed in London and had me. I don't know. But all I do know is that when she was pregnant with my wee sister, she didn't want her, and she told me that she had an abortion, and my head was very messed up from this because I was only like 14 years old when she told me this, and I really don't think she should have told me this, and I don't even think she remembers telling me, because along with my mum's toxic lies and made up stories that she's always telling, she has a very, very selective memory, and I've confronted her about this before, and she says that she never told me such a story. So yeah, you can just tell where this is going. So after being messed in the head with her telling me this story, I was just like, I do think my mum maybe should have aborted me, because with the childhood I had and the things that I was exposed to, really my mum shouldn't have had me. She should have gave me up to a family that actually wanted me and put me up for adoption, and then I could have had like probably a lot better quality of life than what I've experienced as a child. So she aborted my wee sister, which yeah, I've definitely had a hard time getting over how she could keep me and then get rid of my sister, but then treat me like shit because she has. And then at the same time, I don't know what my life would have been like if she did keep her. Like, what would have life been like? Do you know what I mean? Would it have been better? Would it have been worse? I don't know. I'm just trying to get my head around all this. It is a lot to process and a lot to get my head round. But about what sometimes happens with children that are aborted, you might have heard of this, is sometimes they immediately cross over, sometimes they haunt the parent who aborted them, sometimes they cross over and then they become a spirit guide to the siblings of that child that was aborted, or sometimes they even take the anger out on the other sibling and haunt them. What happened to me was I call her Adiana because that's the name I gave her, because obviously when kids are aborted they don't get given names, so I gave her the name Adiana, and she's my spirit guide, but like she's not a baby, she's a full grown woman, but sometimes she'll shapeshift into like a child. And I started noticing her about I want to say about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe longer now, and at first I was kind of scared of her because, don't get me wrong, appearances can be deceiving, but she was quite scary looking, and I've had like angry, evil like entities follow me home before had a really traumatic experience with a Ouija board, which I did make a video about. So if you go back to my story time videos, I talk about how I had a group of friends use a Ouija board in my house while I was on holiday without my permission, comes back to a full-blown demon house. So yeah, I had trauma from that. So when I started seeing her at first, I didn't know who she was, and it was very daunting and very scary. But then she started sending me signs, and I never really felt in danger when I was around her. So I started communicating with her, and then she told me, like, you know, I'm your sister. And then I remembered that story that my mum told me, which, you know, I take it with a chunk of salt. I don't really believe that my mum did that out of the best intentions. I think she was being selfish because she's quite a selfish person. But yeah, she's my sister. She's quite angry at my mum because she doesn't understand, like, why my mum killed her. She doesn't like our mum because of the way that our mum treats me. She doesn't understand why our mother is so nasty. I said, she's just always been like that. She's a narcissist. She's a toxic person. So, yeah, that's the story of my sister, who is always been there for me. I just wasn't able to see it at the time, but we're connected now. And I'll maybe tell you guys some stories about my other spirit guides, because there's quite a lot of spirit guides that I work with, and I'm a pagan, and I work with quite a lot of deities as well, so I might do some videos talking about that. But anyway, now that I've kind of spoke about my sister, she's very active in the background, sensor, I'm going to be putting on the Nude by Nature powdered foundation. So now that the foundation has been applied, I'm going to be applying the NYX On The Rise HD finishing powder. Now that the powder has been applied, I'm going to be applying the NYX On The Rise Volume Uplifting Mascara. Now, I just realised I'm putting this on in the wrong order, but oh well. I'm going to be applying the PS Vintage Eyeshadow Palette in this brown shade here. Well, surprisingly, it turned out alright. So now that the eye makeup is on, I'm going to be finishing off with the Lancome Juicy Tubes Lip Gloss. So that is my makeup look complete today, my spooky children. I hope you have enjoyed this video today. If you did, then please like this video, comment down below, subscribe to my channel, click on the notification bell so that you'll be notified when my next video comes out. Also, don't forget to follow me on my socials. I'm on Twitter and I'm on Patreon, and if you'd follow me on Twitter, become a Patreon of mine, I'd be very grateful for that. Also, I do tarot card readings on my Patreon, so if you're interested in getting a tarot card reading, then please become a Patreon of mine. Higher tiers get early access 7 to 10 days before the content is then released to the lower tiers. Also, I've got a surprise coming up for you guys. I posted a poll on my channel, and it's really important to me, so if you were to vote in the poll, I would really appreciate it. What the surprise is, I'm not telling, but a little hint is that it's got something to do with the poll that I've posted in my community tab, so go post in the poll. And that is everything for me today, my spooky children. I hope you have enjoyed this video today, and goodbye.